All right. So Jennifer is just hopping on. Let's look and see. There she is. There she is. All right. So I am going to do a quick welcome, first of all, and say hello to everybody who's joining us right now. This is our series of RockStar agent interviews. We're excited to have two awesome agents on today. I'm Sherri Johnson. Thanks for joining us. Hi, everybody. If you are on right now, I'm just going to wait a minute or two to let some folks get on since we are live on Facebook in 3 different groups. Craziness. And just say a couple of things. First of all, I've got 2 fantastic agents, friends of mine now, have become friends over the last, 2.5 years for one and maybe 2 years for the other. I'm so excited you're both on here and taking the time to share both your skills, your knowledge, things that are working, your best practices. It's always great when I do this. You know, we show up, we are teachable, we help others, and so many great things happen from that. So again, while we're looking at people are jumping on, this is awesome. So great to see everybody on this Friday afternoon. I'm Sherri Johnson, National Real Estate Coach, and this is our RockStar agent interviews. You guys ready?
Yes.
Awesome. So Jennifer Orebaugh from Pittsburgh is on with us, and Art Obleton from Cleveland, Ohio, my hometown. And we're going to talk today about how they have done phenomenally in advancing their businesses from literally where they started to where they grew, and some challenges along the way, but how they overcame those and then just fought through, and the successes that you're going to share are just, I think, amazing. So I'm going to ask each of you just to tell about your market, how long you've been licensed, and, maybe your average sale price in your market that you work with. Jennifer, I'll start with you.
Okay.
Welcome, my friend. So good to see you.
So you wanted me to talk about my market. I've been in the business about 10 years, and my market's the greater Pittsburgh area.
Yeah. And what's your range of sales? Range from what to what? Because I know you do.
Right. Oh, well, something all the way up to over $1 million.
Okay. Okay. So I think you said from 250.
Are you talking about price point? Like what?
Yeah. Like what's your average sale price?
Well, I've never averaged it, but I do deals. I would think that over 3 would be an average.
Okay. And I know you just said up to $1 million. You cut out a little bit. So over $1 million. And awesome. And Art, tell us about your business and how long you've been selling.
Well, I've been a licensed realtor for 7 years. I've been full-time for 5 years. I'm in the greater Cleveland area, primarily east side suburbs. My average price point is about $140,000 to $145,000.
Awesome. And both of you had amazing years, both in 2019 and 2020, but mostly 2020. The first thing I know our listeners want to hear about is, because I know coach agents and, if you had to say one significant thing that you changed, I know we had an up and down tumultuous year, ended up being amazing for real estate agents, 2020. Now we're into 2021. I want to ask you, were there 1 or 2 things that you did to shift your business either before the pandemic? So even in say 2019, because I know, I've known you for a few years or a little more than that. And what would you say the one thing you did to shift your business, because you both have doubled or nearly doubled your business and continue to do that? Art, what do you think that is in terms of like your mindset? Was it a business practice? Was it shifting to listings? What do you think the 1 or 2 things were that you did?
Yes, I could give 2. One major thing I would say is association. Associating with high level people. I read some things about investing And Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors, he said one of the tips he gives is associate with high-end people. And if I associate with some people, I can't associate with others as much. So you just associate with high-end people. Like, for example, party with a purpose. Whoever you're around, whoever you're associating with, whether it's a happy hour, whether it's a meeting, well, whoever it is, associate with people who are doing better than you, and who can take you higher because you become like the people you associate with. And another thing I would say is my morning routine. I was actually going to bed pretty late at night.
Okay.
And, my transaction coordinator, Katie, mentioned it to me, like, you're going to bed too late. This is just too late. So I started going to bed at midnight. Then we moved to the 11:30 and 11. So now I'm going to bed about 10 to 10:30. And I'm just starting a really good morning routine and setting my day right. There's a saying, master the morning, own the day. So that's what I've started.
Master the morning and own the day. I love that. I don't know that I've ever heard that once. I love it. I want to comment on association. And I remember when I first got licensed, I wanted to be certain agents. I remember, Suzanne Gallman in the Solon market was exactly my mentor. And she, I wanted to aspire to be like her. And I think you're right. Association is, who we associate with. And when you are associating with people in the price range you want to sell, you'll get more listings. When you associate with winners, you become a winner. And I just think that was really a great answer. So thank you. Jennifer, what do you think you did? What changed your business from before to now, to your success now?
Oh boy, there were a lot of things that went into that. Of course, hiring you was utmost. I remember saying to you early in my career, why would anybody let me sell their house? I've never sold a house before. And you gave me the confidence that I needed and the tools and the knowledge to do that. So it's a very complicated process. Each deal, people will say, is different, and they're right. You don't think that anything new could possibly happen. You think you've been through it all, every single deal. But when they don't, it's important to be able to pick up the phone like you had said, Art. And when you have those associations with other people, what I do that's pivotal to my success is I don't quit asking questions until I get an answer that I know is right for the client. I always have their back and I want to do what's right. And so if I'm in a situation and I'm a little confused about how to move forward, I'll just pick up the phone. I don't hesitate to call people and ask questions.
You kind of have a relentless energy, relentless spirit, persevering, I think.
That's right.
Yeah, it is very much. And proactive. That is one of the signs of really a great real estate agent, is never letting the deal fall apart. I've watched you do that. Our coaches that have worked with you have watched you do that. I've seen it firsthand. And I remember, it's kind of funny because both of you have broken through barriers of increasing your average sale price, which is, when we do things on purpose and we're strategic and we have an actual plan, we can hit new milestones and raise, certain prices. I remember, Art, you sending me a text that you had, a month where you had over $600,000 in business, or more even. I think there were 300 and some thousand. Can you elaborate on that? You raised your average sale price, and it was like 1 month, you were 4 or 5 deals in 1 month. So tell us about that.
Right. I think the most I've closed in the month is 7. Closed most in the month with 7. That was December of last year.
Oh, wow.
So in terms of what helped a lot with the business is having administrative support. I have a transaction coordinator that I can hand files to. I get them on, the system process goes pretty much similar to this. I have showing assistants I work with. Debbie, Tracy, we work together, and they may show houses, and they'll show the house. They'll get back to me, let me know whether the buyer wants to make an offer. They want to make an offer, I'll send the comparable sales, talk to the buyer on the phone. We'll talk about a price, talk about the price. Katie, the transaction coordinator, write the offer, get it over to me. I'll review it. We send it over to the buyer. They sign it, and we submit the offer. And with that, forever, as I mentioned, Jill's time expiration date and the time I mentioned to you yesterday, and to create a certain sense of urgency. And so we'll get it submitted, get it signed, and what it does is it streamlines the process where I'm not doing as much myself. So with me leveraging more and passing and delegating more, I'm able to get more transactions under contract and create the urgency, one deal after another, especially with the expiration time on it. And we can do deal after deal like that. Yeah.
7 deals in 1 month, especially in December, when I will comment that most real estate agents are pretty much done with the year around the beginning of November. And so that is awesome. That is fantastic to have 7 closings. And, you don't get there just by chance. Hope is, I say this all the time, hope is not a plan. It's great to have hope. We have to do things strategically and on purpose. You just mentioned leveraging your time. When agents hire administrative support staff to take care of that, $15, $20 an hour work, now you are able to go on more appointments, bring in more transactions, and just keep going. I think that's awesome. Jennifer, when I met you, I remember you telling me you were concerned that you couldn't break into certain markets. I had a phone call with you a couple months ago, and I think you started with, I just wrote an offer for $775,000 and and you were going on about it, and you just went into asking me a question about the transaction and the client, and I stopped you and I said, "What did you just say?" And you said, "I wrote an offer for $775. It got accepted." And I'm like, did you hear what you just said? So I've watched you go into this higher price point over the last 2 years. You have acquired buyers. You do the heavy lifting. Like, I admire both of you because you do the heavy lifting. You actually break into expireds, call people and see if their house is available. So tell us one of the things you've done that has been successful to get you into that higher price point, whether it's 600 or $1 million or whatever. But I think it's really impressive. So agents that are on the phone that are listening right now to this interview are saying, how do I get from 250 to 500? And how do I break into that market? Because I know you were timid about doing it. Now it's like old hat.
Well, I've learned that people will tell you they want to spend X, Y, Z. And I will frequently sell them a house twice of what they said they'll initially pay, because that, and not only just that, because initially you hear people say, "Oh, I'm only going to spend so much," and then you realize no, they don't like anything in that price point, so then they end up paying more. So if you don't show them something else, then they would never have considered it. And so I don't just assume that they can't afford it. I assume that they're going to buy what they like, and that they're not necessarily always going to say what they can or cannot afford until they've really gotten to know me and trust me. Will they start sharing more of that? Because, I always tell my buyers, look, you're driving the boat. I don't spend your money. This is what's available. It sounds like this is what you want. Let's go take a look at it. If they're hard and fast, then that's just a waste of time. But if not, then, well, because I had a buyer even say that to me. She said, "Yeah, I met you at this house and you were on it. We right away went and saw this house," and she spent like $300,000 more than she was expecting to. But I think that really the success has been just putting each deal together thoughtfully, with a purpose, with a plan, being diligent, honest, and really just focusing on what the client wants, listening to them, taking as much time as they need to answer their questions and help them. And so when they feel as though they're being guided through a process that is very confusing to them, then they're going to refer me to friends and family. And that's been happening. So that would be the turning point for me, was when I really started getting phone calls. Hey, I got your name from so-and-so. And, you know, you wait for that day to happen, and then it does.
Yeah, I was on a top agent call yesterday out of California, and the agent said, you know, she would sit and listen to the top agent in her office get these calls and think, when is that day ever going to happen for me? Like, when do I just get the calls where they say, yeah, I want to list my house, I'm ready to go. You did mention not assuming, and I really want to just highlight that, because I think this is an industry. This is a business, a service business. You know, price is what people pay to list their house. Value is what they get. And the value that you're talking about is asking questions, finding out what is really the right house for them. And you're right. People start out in one price point. It's a very delicate conversation to say, you know, without trying to sound like you're trying to sell them a bigger house. But I think when you said you don't assume anything, I think that is so important for agents to hear this, because we cannot assume anything in any regard, because we have to ask a lot of questions. And we know that anyone who's asking the question is controlling the conversation. And therefore, you're able to find out the next step in the process and how to help them. I love the fact that you said you're getting referrals, and you started getting referrals, and that I know that's been happening. And it just snowballs. You know, that's the best part of giving great service, is that people will refer you. I want to ask you both, what are you doing from, and you know, I think people will be shocked in some regards, because there are so many shiny objects out there, right? There's so many agent tools, and I think we get tied. We agents think they have to buy that next big shiny object thing. Both of you tend to do this business, I would say, in a very tactical, you know, not flashy, not shiny object kind of way. So what are the things you're doing to market yourselves? Art, I'll start with you. Are you marketing yourself are you doing print postcards? Are you doing social media more? Are you doing referrals, phone calls? What would you say is the lead gen source that you're using the best?
I do use, we do have referrals. We've been in the business for a while, so we do get repeat business and other clients referring their family and friends. I do use send out cards with that brownie that everybody likes. So we do that. Postcards also. I should do more on social media, but and then I have some leads that come online also. So. And there's nothing that beats the phone call, following up with people, checking in with them, giving them the card, happy home anniversary, might I say, and just being in touch with them, whether if they're not feeling good and you hear they're not feeling good, give them a get well card, and just being in touch with the past clients and following up, and just being in using my spirit influence more.
That's awesome. And tell everybody what send out cards are, because I think they're amazing as well. So what is a send out card? Is it, you know, do you have to make these? Do you just buy them? How easy is it?
Send out card is something I'll introduce to my coach Jill, and she's a part of send out cards. And what you do is, if there's a card for a certain occasion, whether it's a friend or family, whatever the occasion is, there's a card for it. You can go online, order that card, or even take a picture and upload that photo to that card. And then you can send that card to that person. It sends to them. You can include a gift. It sends the card to them. And it follows COVID guidelines. They don't touch the card. Everything is created by the machine robot. So everything is created in a package and it's shipped to that client.
And how much are they? It's like
about a couple of dollars for a card. It would depend on the package you have. It depends on the package you order. You can order a package where you can choose a mass number of cards and send out cards every so often, once a quarter, to your past clients, spirit influence, and so forth.
So I love them too, because you can't beat, like, first of all, everyone listening can go to sherrijohnson.com. We're actually going to post, because of this, we'll post the link for our site where you can just go test it out and actually send a card out on Sherri Johnson Coaching. And we'll post that into the comments in each of the groups. And we'll make sure you get that link. But it is available at sherrijohnson.com under resources and partners. And Send Out Cards is a partner of ours. And we believe in the product a lot. So many of our coaching members, our clients use it. Jill Katzenberg, who is a Clevelander and actually arts coach, is the fantastic. I mean, she's been doing this for 10 years. It is relationship marketing like nothing else I've ever seen. And I think in a world where we're constantly texting and sending emails, this is just a very personal touch. I love the cards. I love when I get them. And you mentioned the brownie that comes with it. I mean, you can send gift cards to people. An actual gift card. You can send a gift, you can send wine, and you do it all on your phone or from your computer. I mean, it's awesome.
You sent me a brownie once. And the brownie,
what's that?
You sent me a brownie once. The brownie was perfect, ideally fresh and everything.
I did send that brownie to you. But again, check it out. I mean, I was slow to move into this. I should have done this years ago. And to me, to send out 6 cards in 15 minutes, ready-made, sympathy, get well, custom card. I mean, it's just great. And that is a great marketing tool. And you're the only one doing it. I mean, you could send 1 card to 1,000 people, or you can send 1,000 people an individual card that you make. And people keep those cards, especially the ones where they have a picture on them. One great idea I know Jill always gives is to have, before a listing appointment, right? You can send a card with a picture of their house on it and say, I can't wait to meet you and see your house. I think that's a great idea. So really, so many answers, so many things you said in that comment. The name of it is Send Out Cards, and you can visit that. You can actually go to my link to sign up, and you'll get you can use on my on my account. You can send your first card out and go test it out for free. It's a free card. You can send it to somebody. Try it. It's phenomenal. And again, ready-made cards, thousands of them, templates, ready to go. They're relevant. They're right on for every occasion. And I sound like this is a Send Out card promotion. It turned into that. I'm sorry, but it's just such a great tool that I think every real estate agent, especially right now, I have companies and agents asking me more about how to contact their sphere right now than any other request. And I think there's something to that. You can build a 90% referral rate, right? We have clients they're doing 30 million. They have a 95% referral rate. This is one of those tools that will help you do that. Jennifer, what are you doing special with your sphere or with your past clients, or any type of marketing promotion that you're doing to increase business?
I keep in touch with them once every other month, pretty much. I will make a phone call, check on how they're doing, if they like their house, their neighborhood, what's going on. And then through those conversations, I learn about, because I'm not really good at getting people's birthdays, anniversaries.
Okay.
Things like this. So just recently, I started paying attention to my client list and when they closed. And there are things that, a matter of fact, I'm going to make a note of sending the HUD one to all of my 2020 clients.
Yeah.
They haven't filed their taxes yet, right? Exactly. So little things like that to benefit them, really.
Yeah. And I think I just had, we had another fabulous idea out of a mastermind group and you were on that call, to send market analysis, just, hey, this is what your house is worth in case you didn't know. I mean, we don't have to, we can send that and then follow up with it, right? I have one of our clients did 90 CMAs and sent those out to her sphere, and, getting listings out of that because people are not aware that their house is worth 20 to 40% more until we let them know that, right?
Right.
So we tell them. I wanted to ask you, so you both have, broken through some, economically speaking, you both broke through some goals. You know, everyone wants to increase their business by $2 or $3 or $5 million, and hit, you know, 10 million and 15 million. What do you think was it hiring a coach? Was it the gold mine pipeline? You know, did you expand the number of people you were talking to? How did you really essentially double or nearly double your business in less than a year? Because you didn't buy leads. Neither one of you bought leads that I'm aware of, right? No one paid for leads. You guys just got on the phone and did what I call really the 10 calls. Just keep calling, call people till you get an appointment, right? I mean, Jennifer, I know your pipeline was at $10 million in less than 3 months. And that's not how much you sold. That was what was in your pipeline for potential business, which I think is unbelievable. You know, what do you think that attributed to? Just having a relentless focus on your goal and just not, you know, every day not letting up until you hit so many calls a day? How did you do that?
Well, I remember I was looking through my lead gen source, and I remember early on doing an open house and selling it because a client had come and I called their agent and said, hey, you know, you have an interested buyer. 3 weeks in a row, they came and I sold that house to them. Then I did another open and a neighbor came. So not only did I sell the house I was doing the open at, but the neighbor had me list her house. And then she bought another house and I was involved in that deal. So I got 3 from that. Then I did an open for another agent. It was a year later. That house was still in the market and I got a phone call about that house and from a friend. And I did 5 deals.
From one open house.
From that. Yeah. And then, you know, it's easy to get discouraged with open houses because oftentimes people come, they talk, they love to talk about, people just love to talk about houses. They'll talk to you and they'll make you think, oh, you know, this is great. I want to buy a house. And you call them, and I would say almost 80% of the time, these people aren't really ready to move at all. And so it's figuring out the 20% who are. And these are statistics, but yes. So when the people who come through that don't, those are the people who they buy rather quickly. They're serious. I always say that people who are going to open houses are buying houses typically, but oftentimes too, it depends on the time of year. In the winter time, when people are putting on their boots and their hat and coat and gloves and going out to an open, you know that they're probably in the market.
Exactly.
Sometimes they just come to see what is available and they're thinking down the road.
Yeah.
I like to work with people who are 5 years out to 5 hours out. You know, right. You want to go see a house after this open, I'll meet you there. Or if you want to wait 5 years, we'll wait 5 years. I had clients that did that. They sold their house. They didn't have a house for 2 years. They traveled all over the world, almost bought a house in Madrid. Finally, they bought a house from me. Then when I listed their neighbor's house, I told them about it. She came over, she wanted to buy it. But they decided they weren't going to do that. And then I just got a full price offer, no contingencies, cash on that. So the seller was very happy, sold her house. And there were people that came through that open house that I just got a text today from an agent saying, I'm going to show that to my clients, but they were too slow to pull the trigger. You know, they were there 2 open houses in a row. She told me after the first one she wanted to buy it. She came to the second open house, still didn't bring an offer. So what do you think about somebody that is dragging their feet? What you want is the person that walks in, sees it, loves it, writes the offer. That's the one to take.
Well, and you know, I think what you just said is this, you know, you're doing open houses right now, right?
Right.
Actively doing open houses. And I think, and everyone's doing them, you know, safely and per your state's COVID protocols. But here's what happens. Our whole model of make 50 grand from one open house is exactly what you just described that happened. You had 5 deals, 5 sales. And I think the most important thing that most agents don't do that you did was stay in touch with people. And whether they are ready to go right now or they are going to buy in a year or two, they're going to buy eventually, and they probably have a house to sell, right? So of those 5 deals, how many were listings? And you don't have to answer me, but that's what we miss out on. I think, I've said oftentimes opportunities are not lost. They go to someone else. And so if you're the agent that's maximizing meeting these people and you work at their pace and their speed and you stay in touch with them, we use the gold mine pipeline system. Obviously, you're keeping them on that pipeline. And again, you want that future business months down the road. That's what I think I saw that happen for you, is that you realized the more people you talk to, right? You have more people on the pipeline and you will sell X number of houses every month. It just happens. Most agents are not talking to enough people. They're only talking to 3 or 4 people, maybe 5 that want to do something right now. And if their plans change, right? If their plans change, they don't list this month, or they end up not buying this month, they don't have another deal to fall back to or another client. So that when you have 15 or 20 or 30 or 40 people on your pipeline, you're always talking to people, and whether their plans change or not, your life isn't dependent on whether they happen or not. We call that the 3 eggs in a basket. And I know you keep a full pipeline, or you do as well. I've often heard you say the gold mine pipeline was the sort of a game changer for your business. You have more people on the pipeline today than you did a couple of years ago. What do you think you did in the last 2 years that gave you, you said you have a better morning routine now. Your mindset is changed. I love getting texts from you telling me that you're in the top 5 of your office of 400. I mean, that is just unbelievable. Okay. And I sit there and I think, this guy just does every single thing that Jill tells you to do. But tell us about how you've implemented the pipeline for success.
Well, I have a friend of mine who's a loan officer too. And actually, I just got a lead from him before the interview started.
Oh, good.
And I explained to him the pipeline and how it works. He's a loan officer. So, and he said, Art, that system right there is worth the cost of you're paying for coaching in itself. So, the pipeline, just building it up and just loading up one after another, just loading them up. I have actually a wall sheet, a wall sheet posted on my office where I have the names written. I have the pre-approval amounts. I have the amount that they're pre-approved. I have no PA pre-approved for the amount. Okay. I have the dates when the one list for the buyers, another list for the sellers, the dates when I'm going to follow up with the sellers, and when to follow up on the phone call, when they plan to list the house. And I put it in my calendar as to when to follow up and where are they in the process of getting their house prepped and ready to be sold. There was a seller visit a house he plans to sell, and just point out some ideas and some things he could do to list the house and make it sell faster. Actually, he's planning to sell it for sale by owner. And he called me and said, Art, I know you sold my wife and I a house, and I just want to let you know that I'm going to list this house for sale by owner, and I want to know if you want to bring a buyer. I talked to him and pulled the house up, ran the comps. I said, hey, I can get you more money than what you're asking for on the for sale by owner. I can increase I ran a net sheet. I increased the net amount significantly more than what he was expecting. And so he pulled it off for sale by owner. And this is a listing that's coming up here soon. And I'm going to list it for considerably more than what he had it listed for. And he's going to net considerably more. So, and he's on the pipeline too.
And so for sale by owners and expired exist. I know a lot of homes are selling in, multiple offers all over the country. In certain pockets, 17 to 30 offers coming in. If you're in Denver, you're getting 35 plus offers on every house. It's insane. throughout the country, because we have so many people tuning in from everywhere, for sale by owners, right?
Yes.
I mean, Art just said, I can get you more money and cover the fee, basically. I mean, this guy's going to list with you. And most sellers, most for sale by owners, do not have a pricing strategy. They just know what they know, right? They might have seen something in their neighborhood or saw a house that they think they have the details on. Your value just brought this guy however much more. How much more was the listing than what he had?
I think I'm going to, if I remember correctly, I'm going to net him about $16,000 more than what he had it listed for.
Nice.
What he planned to net. And also, for a matter of fact, he's a past client, and I went to his house that I sold to him to do the listing presentation, and I took out my laptop. He said, "Art, what are you doing? Put that away. Bring out the paperwork. I know you. I trust you. Let's sign the documents." And so, and of course,
awesome.
I didn't do the comparative market analysis like you teach to do the competitive market analysis to tell him, to let him know what his value is for his house.
Well, thanks for bringing that up. It is a better strategy, pricing strategy, to stay competitive, and the fact that, you converted this past client. I mean, people sometimes think they can sell their house themselves. I love for sale by owners. I grew my business on for sale by owners and expireds and open house people. And just, it was a lot of fun. It's the expired lead is the most qualified lead that exists. I think agents forget about this. They had a sign in their yard and they hired a real estate agent. They hired a professional. So expired leads, to me, they're free. They're in your MLS. Most of our states allow for you, most of the MLSs allow for you to prospect them. For sale by owners also, it's learn and master the strategy of how to talk to a for sale by owner, and you will get those appointments and you'll get those listings. I want to answer a couple of questions I see in the chat. So I have, and maybe Jill K can answer some of these. One question I can answer is, do you keep a spreadsheet of all of your past sales in order to send out the send out cards, or how to keep up with the sold anniversaries? And Art, while you're thinking of your answer, I'll tell you guys what we do at Sherri Johnson Coaching. We actually put them right into our Outlook calendar, right, Jill? They go into the Outlook calendar as a repeating appointment. And whether it's a birthday, an anniversary of their coaching with us, an anniversary of a home purchase, your anniversaries of people's marriages, the home anniversary cards, you can put these right into your Outlook or whatever type of calendar system you use. Or you can do a spreadsheet. Art, how do you keep track of your sales and making sure that those cards go out?
I have it on my send out card, on the list I have for send out cards, where it updates after I sell a house. It syncs into send out cards, and it gives me the dates that they actually sold the house, so I can follow with them. And then the TC, the transaction coordinator, is also updating the birth dates, the dates of the spouse, and also Jill gave me an idea. Hey, find out the date of the birthday of the pet. So that and so you give their pet a card. They'll really love that. So I have the birth dates and the home anniversary. Like I said, the home anniversary dates there too. So yeah. I
love the idea of the pet, because you are. I mean, think about this. You are. A lot of people have pets. That's their kids. I know I do. If someone sent me a card for my kids, right? But also my Mika and Bella, I would love that, especially if they grabbed a picture off of Facebook. That's how easy this is to do, guys. You're just, these people, you follow them on Facebook. They have a child graduating from college or high school. There's some amazing, event that happened in their lives. You take, you memorialize that and you can put it on a card. I see somebody asking, you could, and Art did bring up that right inside of send out cards, you can upload your list and store it right there. So you have a dashboard within the send out cards that you can just monitor the dates in send out cards, which makes it really easy. And I love the ease and use of the functionality. They have more products now that I think Jill mentioned in a comment, but wow, it is a really affordable way. You know, you can't go to CVS. The time it takes, getting the stamps, you know, I love it. And when you send these and you're customizing the interior of the card, it can look like handwriting. I mean, it's not, you can change the color, you can change the font, you can make it look script. I mean, it's just really, they're spot on. So somebody says, asked if gosh, I lost that question. Is it better than banner season? I've tried banner season and I'm not a fan. I don't know banner season, but I know that, are you guys familiar with banner season? Probably not. Okay. Maybe one of my coaches who's on, if Jill's on, she can comment about that. I think it's the best product and it's the only product like it. So yes, I think it's fantastic. On the back of the card, you can go low key with your logo. You can go, you know, you can put your picture on it. You can put your logo on it and ask for referrals on the back of that thing. Tell people to visit you on Facebook. Depending on the purpose of the card, you could do marketing on it or not. But I think it's a really great platform. Again, if you're just checking in, we're talking about send out cards and how you can use this for relationship marketing. And go send a card out on sherrijohnson.com. You can go to the partners page under resources and send a card out on us very easily. So, you know, you said that goldmine pipeline was, I believe that is a strategy that does, we say it all the time, it changes lives. I interviewed, I did a class 2 days ago with a company down in Ocala, Florida. And one of the agents there who was going to be on the RockStar interview went from, you know, 1.4 million to 5.7 million in 1 year using the goldmine pipeline. And she, you know, she had it in front of her. She said she carries it around with her everywhere and it's her lifeblood. You know, it's like her pulse. And I said, it is the pulse of your sales business. And so we are not in a business where we know where our next deal is coming from. And I think what it gives people is the ability to not do this, right? You guys are both not doing that anymore. You're steadily, you know, making the income you want to make every month on purpose. And I think that's just fantastic. Do either of you have, Art, you mentioned having a transaction coordinator. I know, Jennifer, you have just hired somebody that's going to do personal assistant work for you, manage, you know, marketing and a lot of the tools you want to implement, your CRM and things like that. How do you feel about that? If people are hesitant to hire somebody, what advice would you give them?
Hire slow and fire fast.
Oh, right.
So I've been through a difficult time with a transaction coordinator. They got the wrong emails on my transaction and it cost me 20 hours to straighten out. Okay. So I don't use them. I do everything myself. And that's been good and bad in that I can keep track of it, but there comes a time where I need more. I need to duplicate. I need to clone myself at times. I just need to be in too many places at once. And so, as you know, in this business, there are going to be times when you're really busy. You could employ 10 people, and then there's other times when you could do it solo. So finding the right administrative person has been happening. I had one that helped me do some minor marketing, but I didn't really bring her on full time. And I wanted her to be able to feel out whether or not this was something that she wanted to do. And so I was able to see what her strengths were, keep in touch with her, and she's now going to do projects for me as opposed to just getting on the payroll. And then I have another admin that's going to become an agent that I am looking forward to growing my team with and starting to build a team underneath of me.
Okay.
but I want to do that slowly too. So I have a plan, and it's in progress. So you have to check back with me on, I guess, how that shakes out.
Yeah, no, I know it's happening. Leveraging your time. I know for me, I doubled my production when I actually hired someone full-time instead of part-time. And full-time was about 30 to 40 hours. But I was able to walk in with 3 listings and a sale and turn around and either go show houses or go meet with new clients, new listing opportunities, and new listing appointments. So to me, the systems and the setting that stuff up, I always tell agents it takes a little bit of time, heavy lifting. You do it once, that stuff gets put into the cloud. You have your first admin, document every single thing that they're doing. And it will allow you to go on twice as many appointments and have a life and have work-life balance. I think that's a lot of people that I interview or that I've coached in the past have, started teams, had to undo them because they made decisions too quickly. So I'm glad you said, take it slow. Starting a team for the right reasons is so important. Just because you're good at working with listings and someone else is good at working with buyers doesn't necessarily mean 2 people should partner up, and I've had to undo that multiple times, and oh my gosh, so many times. And I've had a few successes where people, coming together and then doing the same volume is not a success of partnering with somebody, right? Coming together and where you both did 4 million each, and now you're doing 8 is the same as doing 4 million each, right? So now if 2 $4 million agents came together and now they do 20 million, that's growth. And that's really a great example of a team partnership. In your case, looking at setting up a Rainmaker team. And again, starting it slow, making sure you're profitable, making sure you have an inventory of listings and leads coming in will help. So I wanted to ask, I saw a couple more questions, and I want to say this. I have on send out cards my signature. So Jill Katzenberg is one of my favorite coaches here at Sherri Johnson Coaching. She told me that, sign your name and you can actually put your signature. Like I sign all my cards with my signature, all of them. And it's my signature, and it's extremely personal. As far as asking people, if you don't have a new client intake sheet with information, right, for, party number 1 and party number 2, their emails, their birthdays, right? You ask those questions just like you would if you sat down and met with your attorney or met with any professional. That's a standard question that we would just ask normally, and people will give it to you. I think someone answered like that. It is a really great program. And I think it, again, you can be the one who is out there doing it when the rest of the people aren't. I know, Jennifer, I don't know if are you in that yet? Are you send out cards, or did you sign up?
I actually do send cards, but I make my own.
Oh, that's right. You have an artist. You are an artist, and you have done. I forgot about that. That's right. You have a beautiful card line, actually, of hand painted. I've gotten them before, and they're gorgeous. Any other tips? What would you? I'm going to ask you sort of our final questions here. Discuss for a minute. What would you tell agents to stop doing that's hindering their success? One of the things I always like to ask people is, what mistakes did you make, or what were some things that you did and it prevented you from increasing your business or growing? What would you say that thing that someone should stop doing? And then what would be the 1 or 2 things of your best advice in our parting ways here that you could say to start doing? Like, what would those 2 things be, and what would they look like? Art, I'll start with you.
Well, I would say when you start your business, start with a big picture in mind. And in Gary Keller's book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, he says, start in terms of building see yourself building a 20-lane highway. Well, not a 20-lane highway, but a massive highway. I forget the exact terminology, but so a massive highway, that this way you build this road big enough and wide enough from the beginning that you don't have to tear down and restructure and begin to, what you're saying is you don't have to elevate your thinking along the way. if you think with a big picture in mind from the beginning and know your why do you want to become a realtor? Like you said, why do you want to have a team? Why do you want to accomplish these goals? So you have a big why and start and always keep that big why in mind. Then it gives you the motivation and inspiration to keep doing what you're doing. And just start with a big picture in mind. Don't start in terms of just being transactional. A lot of realtors are starting and they just think, well, I just want to do some deals and just have the commission checks or just have a few people, family members and friends. But if you think and make it a business from the beginning, you know, and I think that's one thing I did not do. If I was at a different at the brokerage I'm at now, where I could have made more of a business from the beginning, opposed to being transactional, I would experience a lot more growth earlier in my career.
Excellent. And I'll let you think about another thing that they could do as a takeaway. Jennifer, what would you say?
My suggestion is to start with what's in front of you. A lot of times I think I have so many things that I need to be doing. I'm a little overwhelmed with where to begin. And so I pick up, if I have a pile of paper, I have a bad habit of just piling papers. So I go through them one at a time and I either throw them away, file them, or act on them. And this has to become a daily activity. And my desk is cleared off at the end of every night and everything's done. So when you can't procrastinate in this business, because like you said, Sherri, opportunities aren't lost, they go to someone else. So if you don't do it, somebody else is going to do it, right? So that and enthusiasm is another thing that you have said over and over, Sherri. And I've had clients tell me that. They'll reflect, Jennifer, you're so enthusiastic, and they love that. And I tell all my clients that this is going to be fun. And I don't lie to them, and I do say it will be difficult at times, or it may be difficult, but it will be fun, and it needs to be fun, because you're not moving because, well, sometimes people move because they have to, but when people are choosing to do this, you know, they're making this choice, you know, they're volunteers here. And so let's make it fun. You know, it doesn't have to be stressful. Your perception can change to just, you know, and the other thing you taught me, Sherri, was you don't really need to worry until I tell you to. You know, I'll take on all the stress and always keep it. Everything, you know, you want to not react and cause them to become anxious during this process, because there are going to be some, you know, hair-raising issues that will arise that we behind the scenes need to deal with. One time I had a client, for example, he didn't think I was going to sell his house as quickly as I did. He said I should have known better. So 2 weeks it was sold, and he had a contingency to buy another house. So he had canceled the appraisal and forgot. And so right before we were closing, it was a VA loan, and I spent 2 days on the phone climbing the VA administration, saying, who's your boss? Who's your boss? Let me talk to them. Let me talk. I spent 2 entire days, and I got that appraisal in, and we closed on time. So that's, you know, you have to be tenacious and relentless, and you have to figure out there's always a problem, there's always a solution, and don't ever let anything drop. You can do it. You just have to have that mindset and get it done.
I love it. And I think when you said managing their expectations, I mean, that's like having a positive attitude and enthusiasm. I mean, enthusiasm always wins. It always wins, whether you're at a listing appointment, you're showing houses, you're negotiating a very difficult home inspection resolution, or whatever. I think that is a really good point, because I sort of take it for granted that your attitude going into a deal, you know, are you a deal maker, and are you facilitating the deal, and or are you fighting? You know, I remember having conversations with you about, you know, how to deal with the other agents sometimes, you know, and it's like, how do we rise above that, take the high road, and keep facilitating and moving forward when you've got that other agent on the other side that might be difficult, or might be, you know, maybe making it about something else, than what's in the client's best interest. And it's hard to be the only person that's positive, but sometimes you are, and that radiates. And I think your clients definitely feel less stress about things by the way you act, right? Hair's on fire or it's not on fire. And you can diffuse situations and help them through the deal. But attitude is, how do you keep a positive? I mean, it's tough, right? But at the same time, that's what we do. When we go up, we get up every day and we say, okay, I'm going to list or sell a house this week. I just don't know the address, right? My famous phrase. But, with a positive attitude and getting out there and not leaving any stone, unturned. And I think you're both doing that. It sounds like, which is great because that's what has led you to all this success. I'm just going to ask everybody if they have any questions before we part. I could talk to you guys all day. Is there a specific CRM that you use that has helped you, or are you using your company's? Jennifer, I know you're at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Is that do you use their CRM? Do you have your own? And then Art, I'll ask you the same question. And Jen?
So they do have a CRM function, and I sent a market analysis to a client, and she did not like the fact that her house wasn't worth more. And this was an automated thing that went out.
Yeah.
So I stopped that because as we know, you have to see the house, you have to tweak it. But then, of course, there's the other reality, which is sometimes your house is only worth what the market determines it to be, not what I or a computer thinks that it is. So I like the idea that you said there was an agent that sent out some CRM. So I think that target marketing those people. But what I've done is in my iPhone, I've created groups, and I've, been able to I use my iPhone for everything. And so if I use another platform, there are so many different CRMs that are constantly changing that I didn't want to import all my contacts into this particular CRM and then, a new software program develop. And then, then I'm looking at a huge administrative task trying to convert. So I just use my iPhone for everything. I have everything grouped in there. I can find whatever I want.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like you've probably done this, right? You put in George Plumber or so-and-so electrician. So I can just, if somebody says, hey, I need an electrician, these people are and buyers and sellers. It does get to a point where I will be probably exporting these into a different kind of a CRM at some point, but I don't know what yet.
Yeah, everybody, it's taunting. Every single agent is like, either they have 3 CRMs and they love a specific thing about each one that they can't live without, or they're, as you build your business, as you grow, your database and the follow-up is in a fortune. And if you don't have a system, any system works if you work it, right? I say all the time, agents have spend a lot of money on systems and they just don't use them. So it's like, okay, whether it's, Real Geeks or Boomtown, or some agents are using Top Producer that has, if you're not at Sync, there's all these great CRMs. Moxie's great. Art, what are you using?
We have Command at our office. I have been using actually my Follow-Up Boss.
Okay.
It's been working for me. It's not saying that Command isn't simple. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
And it just lets me know every day who I am to call, who I'm going to follow up, how often. And so it was referred to me by my sister, who's a realtor in Atlanta too. So
okay.
And it's been working well for her. And that's the system I've been using. Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone out there who's listening, your database, your sphere, the people and trust you, they love you, they count on you, and they actually count on us, to give them information about what's going on in the real estate industry, just like they would count on their stockbroker or financial planner. And there's an opportunity right now to really engage with folks and call people and say, why wouldn't you move right now? Like if I told you what your house was worth, or if I told you the type of house you could purchase right now, the buying power. I think we're so close to it as an industry, we don't realize that our sphere and the people we love and our past clients, never assume anything, right? We've sold houses. I've sold houses that were not for sale, by calling people. Right now, people are trying to get listings, instead of waiting for somebody else to list something, go find the listings. That is a great way to grow your business right now. Go after the listings, find the listings, and be the expert in those neighborhoods, and you will, have everything. That's just it doesn't matter what type of market we're in, right? I love the fact that both of you have built your business in a way that is, recession proof, it's pandemic proof. And I say all of this because you are truly what I call face-to-face relationship building. And doesn't matter what's going on out there, right? You'll still close deals because you're calling for sale by owners, you're calling expireds. Jennifer, I remember that run you had of calling expireds, and you made $10,000 in the first month from calling expireds. I mean, that's making it happen, and that is I think that's the difference between agents that wait for it to happen versus the agents that go out and make it happen. And so I'm so proud of both of you because, first of all, I've watched you grow, and I've got to have a front row center spot to experience and watch you, and you inspire me with your texts and your calls to me. And I know our coaches love working with you. Someone just asked what system you use to find phone numbers for expired listings. And I think we recommend, and Jen, you used RedX, right? Is that what the system you use?
I've not used them yet. I should. Okay. I think you mentioned that to me a year ago. But I will see. Here's what my issue with any of these systems are.
Yeah.
They may give you an expired listing, right? So I'll use the white pages.
Oh, the white pages.
Yeah.
Whitepages.com.
I get phone numbers that way. And
okay.
So you can scrub the data anyway, because then if you go into, I don't know about your MLS Art, but ours will pull up old listings that have actually sold showing that they're expired when you're searching for the expired. Yes. Now there's a button you can click on for the history to find out if it has sold. Right. If it doesn't show up there, I always double check, because there was one time I sent a letter, I think, to a person, and then I looked at the county record and realized, you know what, that house sold a month ago. Yeah. So this person's not moving. They're not going to be selling. I need to find out, okay, is this actually expired or if it's selling? And if it is expired, what's the background? What's the story? Why do I think that it expired? So I go in and I look at the pictures. I look at the time frames. I try to, and then I give them a call. And sometimes they'll call me back and say, hey, I have an agent and we're going to put it back on the market, blah, blah, blah. Good luck. Maybe I can bring a buyer, just stay positive. And then other times they want to talk to you and they're very interested, and you get a listing appointment and then you sell the house.
Oh, it's the best. And, I think what I'm going to say about expireds to everybody is this, go back, whether you go back 6 days or 6 weeks, 6 months, or 10 or 11 or 12 months ago. Okay. The market has changed so much. Their house is probably worth more, right? We know it is. We know it's worth more today than it was. We also know that the beauty of being the second one there, right? There's so many great things that happen when you're the second person that comes in. You can say, I have a formula for why your house didn't sell. I specialize in selling homes that didn't sell the first time and get them excited again about making a purchase. And every time, expireds would always say, we decided to take it off the market. They're kind of like Debbie Downer because it didn't sell, and when you just say, hey, I understand, I'm sure that was disappointing. However, I'm selling houses. My company's selling houses. We have a lot going on. There's been a change in the market conditions since 2 months ago, or whenever, 3, 6, 8, 10 months ago. I have new market data. And I have a strategy that will get your home sold, and I can get you where you want to go, and then they'll say, well, you say, where did you want to live? And when they ask where they want to live, I think I've been saying this all week and month. when we say, oh, there's no inventory, you know, you're just shooting ourselves in the foot, right? So I want everybody to stop saying, I know there's no inventory, but let's not tell everybody that there's no inventory, because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? If a seller says, an expired says they want to move somewhere and there's no listings in that neighborhood, you say, I'll find you a house, right? That's my job. I will find you a house. I make 200 calls until I find you a house, right? If I'm that buyer or that seller of that expired, I'm going to think you are amazing, right? I'm going to say, yeah, come over and tell me what my house is worth. And we'll go from there, you know? And I think to me, the expireds, what makes it special is that you are changing their lives. You are actually coming in and getting them excited about selling their house again, when before they were like, nobody wanted our house, you know, or it didn't sell the first time. So I think there's a great opportunity there, especially too with those first sale by owners like Art was talking about, you know, asking a seller. I remember maybe 6-8 months ago, I called some for sale by owners with an agent here. And I said to the guy, how did you come up with your price? Like, what was your pricing strategy? And the first thing he said was, why is it too low? And I said, I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen your house yet, but I mean, yeah, I think it is. And you know what he said? When can you come over? When can you come over? And I said, this afternoon. Right? So I think they need us. They all need us. You guys have been absolutely amazing. I cannot thank you enough. And this has been a blast. I hope you'll come back on our RockStar interviews in 6 or 8 months or a year from now and share some more awesome strategies and secrets to your success. Not only are you a great part of our coaching program, but we just love the success you're having. And I consider you both really good friends. So I appreciate it. And, you know, if you are not following these two, get onto Facebook and find Art, find Jennifer. You can find them in the group Rockstars in Real Estate. They're both members. Send your referrals to Art in Cleveland and your referrals out to Jennifer in Pittsburgh. She'll take them. They both will, I know, right? And you guys have just been amazing. I also want to offer, because we just love to help people and give you free coaching tips. We have a 30-minute free strategy call that just went into the link. If you miss it in the link, you can go to our website and right on the front page, set up your time and date. You can talk to one of our coaches, or hopefully it will be me, and I can talk to you, and we'll give you 30 minutes of free coaching. If you're interested in our coaching programs, of course, we'd love to have you as a part of our coaching. As Art said it best, the gold mine pipeline in itself is worth the investment. So I love that you said that. I didn't even know you were going to say that, but it's a great line. And your mortgage loan guy is the one who said it too. That's great. So you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us. And I wish you the best, and I'll see you soon. You rock. You're my favorite people, and I'm your biggest fan. So I'll see you soon. Thanks again, Art and Jennifer. And thanks everybody for spending your time with us. We look forward to seeing you all on our next RockStar interview, where I have superstar agents coming in, some doing 80 million, some doing 30 million. And we've got exciting lineup of panelists coming, interviews that are happening. So stay tuned. Stay tuned to me on Facebook and follow us. We will keep you posted on who's up next on deck, and we'll see you guys all soon. Have a great weekend and happy listing and selling. We'll see you soon.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Sherri.
Bye.
Bye.